Welcome, everybody, to the Old Ass Casuals podcast, episode number 1. I'm Justin.
Hey, I'm Kelly, and I'm Justin's mom, and we like to play video games and talk about video games and TV shows, too, but mostly video games.
Did you hit the table? Did you hit the table?
I did hit the table. Okay. All right, so warning, I flail my arms around a lot when I talk. There's a distinct possibility I will be hitting the microphone a lot, but I'll try to put my hands down.
But I loved it though, because you know, for anybody that's new, because we've had a very long hiatus from recording anything, so we're like super rusty. This is going to probably be very awkward for us to get back in front of a camera and record us talking about random things, but hopefully not too rusty. But you always did that in the past. Like any time we were introing the video, you're just like, you know, I'm Justin, and you're like, I'm Kelly. You know, just like Hulk smash the table.
I want to make sure you know that I mean it when I say it.
Yeah, I am really freaking Kelly, and I'm here to talk about video games. So yeah, welcome everybody to the first episode of the podcast. I guess we probably should talk a little bit about like where we went and everything, right? I mean, just very briefly.
I think we should, because we missed everybody for one.
Yes.
For two, it was all Justin's fault. I'm sorry, Justin. I didn't mean to throw you under the bus. But seriously, we'll get back to it. But we did have 4 months, 5 months of not doing anything.
Longer than that, I think.
6, 7.
Yeah.
Gosh.
6 or 7. It's been a while. Oh, I just messed with you and I just made you smaller. Sorry. I'm trying to get you up here on the camera so that way I can see you. You know, we're working out the kinks again, people.
So I'm just gonna like going back.
Yeah. You kind of. I mean, behind the scenes and everything. Like I run all the stuff on OBS and everything, so I get total control on like. Okay, does my mom look this way, or how do you know? More or less, I have to worry about you the majority of the time because like you know you're more particular than I am on how I look.
Make me look good.
Yeah, I'm trying. I try to make you look good in the recording and everything. But yeah, we did take a long hiatus and everything. Life came and got in the way. If you're totally new, you're like, I don't care about any of that, so we're not going to go like over all the finer details of life being hard and adulting being very difficult. But that's more or less what happened. Lots of stuff came up in life, and we just had to take a little break. But we're back. I'm very excited to be back to just enjoy video games again. There was a period there for about three or 4 of those months where I just didn't. I didn't watch anything video game related. I didn't play any video games. I don't know. There was something about being in the house and being isolated that I just couldn't handle during that time period. So I'm very happy to finally be back, and you know I'm okay with just hanging out in the house by myself and playing a video game and enjoying a beautiful story or great action and all that kind of stuff. So it's
I'm
been
glad
very
for
nice.
you to be feeling better.
Yes,
I'm so happy about that. I missed having my video game buddy. I send a message out and say, hey, you want to play a little Borderlands, because that was always a fun one. Couldn't get him to do anything. So it's nice to have you back.
Well, I appreciate it. It's nice to be back. It's funny. So December, there's like we missed it together. We I think in 2016, I'm pretty sure we may have live streamed it together. But the Video Game Awards, and it's a really huge thing. They show lots of world premieres of really cool trailers. They showed a Death Stranding trailer that I honestly haven't even watched yet, but it was 9.5 minutes long apparently. And so I was watching that earlier today, just trying to, kind of like get back into it. I mean, I've been watching a ton of video game YouTube stuff for the last 2 months. Like I've been really back into it, like being very inundated in like the video game industry and what's going on. And I watched about an hour of it. I got to think an hour into it. And I'm just like, oh my God. I missed so many things from about October until January of the year in the world of video games. So I'm really glad again to be back. And if you're new here, welcome.
Welcome. Yeah, we're super happy to take you along on our journey. And it'll be smoother, we promise.
Yes, yeah, we'll get better about this here in the future. So basically, we're the old ass casuals, and we are older gamers, and we're casual gamers. And the reason why we have come together to make this podcast, it's on our website, which is not live as of right now, but probably by the time that you're watching this video or listening to the recording, the website will be live and everything. And so I wrote an about us on there, and I think this will just make it the easiest way to know why the hell we're doing this podcast. If I just kind of read a little bit about it, and it kind of tells you.
I want to hear it anyway.
Yeah, you actually haven't seen this. I wrote it on the back end of the website and haven't published it yet. It says, "Hi there, fellow casual gamer. We are glad you found us and can't wait for you to hang out with us more as we navigate the wonderful world of video games. We know how it is. So many new, shiny video games coming out each and every week, but so little time to play them. Yes, money, and time. The two time is even harder, I think, at some points than money, especially as we get older. So the reason why we are here is to make you feel good about the fact that it took you 2 months to beat God of War when the rest of the gaming world was already moving on to the next new and shiny title. So we're going to talk about new games, old games, games that we know a ton about but never have actually played because we have so many adulting life things that we have to do, but we've watched a ton of YouTube videos on it, or we've watched streams on it, and it's something that really interests us. We just don't have the time to play it. But our number one goal with the site and the podcast is to build a fantastic community of like-minded gamers that realize all of this adulting is getting in the way of us playing video games for 48 hours straight every weekend, but that's okay. So yeah, so we're here just to try to build a community of fellow casual gamers that love the industry. We can't beat every single game all the time, but we still 6 to 10 months later, when we finally beat that game that came out at the beginning of the year,
we're super excited about it when we do.
Yes, exactly. So that's really why we're here and everything. So we're gonna have quite a bit of a conversation in this episode because there's so many things to talk about. We don't really have a strict format yet or anything. I know we're gonna get into what we've been playing lately, some news items in the video game world, and then the big thing that we're going to just break down is the wonderful time of the year, which is video game Christmas and E3, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's it's kind of like not necessarily Christmas so much as it's like when you go to Santa and ask for the presents, because we don't get to unwrap them. It's not like they're actually going to let us have them yet. They're just going to tease us with them. So, but yeah, Christmas is a good way to describe it. So
I like your way way more because you're right. I never thought about it that way. That it's not like we get to go home immediately, go to GameStop or go to the digital download store and purchase those games and be able to play them. And sometimes hell, in respect to Final Fantasy VII Remake or just any usually Final Fantasy game, when they show off some teaser trailer, it's like a decade later, or Death Stranding,
right?
That's
a perfect example. You get so excited and the game looks so incredible. I don't know if I'll be alive when it comes out. I'm not sure.
Who knows? Maybe none of us will, but hopefully we will. Hideo Kojima he's a crazy dude. I will say
it's worth staying alive for.
Yeah, it is worth staying alive for. This is, again, casual gamers. I'm way behind on the times, on all the news. So when I was watching the Video Game Awards, Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro, they presented, I believe it was Best Narrative or Best Action, or maybe it might have been Best Art Direction. Is what they presented at the Game Awards, and I just love those two together. They're so great, and the fact that they're working together on a video game with Norman Reedus, like, it just that blows my mind. It's so cool.
I hope we get this huge documentary on the making of it. I want to see the day-to-day operations and how they interact with each other. On a regular basis. I mean, on their sessions when they sit down to spitball the ideas for the game. I want to see that so bad.
Yeah, I mean, that's that's why I love No Clip. And if you're watching this, somehow and you've watched our stuff, but you've never watched No Clip, you're doing yourself a disservice, because that, to me, is one of the coolest video game channels, whatever you want to, entities, I don't know, because it's so cool watching those documentaries on the video games. Danny O'Dwyer does the channel, and he makes it seem so natural whenever he's interviewing these developers, these, artists, and PR people behind the games. It's so good. I mean, I haven't even beaten Doom. Like I've got it right over here. It's on my backlog of games
in your
that
pile.
I must play. Yeah, it's in my pile, which I've been slowly whittling down over the last couple of months.
Good.
But it's been fantastic. But I hadn't played the game yet. But I watched the No Clip documentary on Doom, and it was like a 4 or 5 part series. And it was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen, because this is something that we don't get in the video game world. Is all these great documentaries. And what's really cool, and we'll get into it when we talk about E3 and everything, is he's currently doing a documentary on Bethesda that actually comes out this week. You'll be listening or watching this podcast, and then his stuff comes out, I don't know, maybe June 5th or something like that. And I don't know how many parts of a series it is, but it's so cool because we've never seen it that way. Yeah, we've never seen it where it's during the making of the game before it even releases. It's typically like, okay, yeah, Doom came out in 2016. We're doing the documentary in 2017. And so you're like kind of going back through all those stories. But this is like literally in the mix, like during development cycles, we're going to get like the nitty gritty stories behind it. So it's just fantastic. I love that stuff. So yeah, I don't know. There's a plug for Danny O'Dwyer's channel, No Clip Video. It's really, really good, and I can't wait to see that the Bethesda history and everything, because he does such a good job with the editing and everything. So that's neither here nor there. But I do love the crap out of No Clip Video. So we're just gonna get into all that stuff.
Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
What have you been playing, Justin?
What have I been playing? Good segue. Very nice segue, Mom. So the big game that I know that we've both been playing, and I finally beat, which you put me to shame. You beat it like a few weeks after it came out, and I was still just chugging along trying to beat the game. But it's
when I like a game,
yeah,
I play it. I play the crap out of it. I find ways to not be an adult.
Yes,
that I can just play the game. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like those people that binge watch TV shows, and that's like their superpower is they can binge watch a 6-season freaking show over the course of a weekend.
Over the weekend.
Yeah, that's you with really long video games. I mean, you've been crushing it over the last couple of years with your. I mean, you're just checking them off the box. How many games that you've beat that have, for me, because I like a nice 12-hour. That's my sweet spot right now, like 12 to 14 hours, because it's just so difficult for me to take the time a lot of times to play through like these 30, 50, 75-hour campaigns. It's really difficult, but you crush it.
Which are just perfect for me.
Yeah, you love it.
Which I absolutely love. Yeah. And we're talking about God of War, by the way. We both beat it, and I know for me, I absolutely loved it. I think you did too.
Yes.
The story was so good, and it was so incredibly beautiful. And I like that we get hope for the future, that there'll be more of it.
Yes. I've watched about 5 spoiler casts.
Have you?
Yeah, with the game's director, Cory Barlog. And they've all been just amazing to watch and get these behind-the-scenes moments, and some of the meanings behind certain things that happened in the game. It's funny, because I love the game so much that I went out and bought this Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology book, because it was so cool as you're playing the game. And this is what I try to tell a lot of my friends, that they don't really understand. They're like, you're a 35-year-old adult. Why are you out there gaming still? Why would you want to spend your time doing that when you can go outside and do certain things, or you can go, I don't know, whatever it is, whatever else that adults do as they get older. And I try to tell them like it's always about how the game impacts me emotionally, and how much I contemplate like the meanings behind different actions, and things and consequences that happen in the game. But with this one, it was all of those plus it felt like I was in a history class,
right.
Throughout the game. So, which I thought was so cool. Now they played a little bit loose with some of the Norse mythology.
Yeah,
but
of course they do. I mean, they make it work for the story.
Yeah.
I told you that I had, until this past week, I had still been spending time in the game, and I was really sad. Because I can't remember the guy that is hanging on your hip. It starts with an M.
Oh, Mimir.
Mimir. Mimir tells these fantastic stories as you're traveling around through the world in God of War.
Yeah.
After you finish the story, and I was trying to finish the entire game, like every single check off every single box.
Yeah, all the side quests, everything.
Yeah. And so after a while, Mimir is like, screw her. I have no more stories for you. And I was so sad, because all those times of rowing in the boat that normally you would get this great story as you went, there were no more stories for me. So that part was a bummer.
That is a bummer. That means you have made it quite far into the game.
I'm probably, I'd say about 90% finished with, yeah.
Are you going to platinum this game? Because that would be a very impressive platinum for you. Because that's something that you've just recently started learning about. Is like because you were like, oh, I beat Horizon Zero Dawn, and then you're like, you didn't know about the platinum part of it, but you're like, I beat it. I should have the highest score possible. I should have all the trophies because I beat the game. And then you started realizing, oh my God, I'm only 15% done.
Yeah. Right. There's stuff out there, and I never could understand how you could be finished with the story and it say, well, you've finished 25%. I'm like, screw you, I finished this.
Yeah.
They didn't count my play. No, it's because I didn't go collect all the trophies and do all the quests and everything.
Yeah. Well, I think you should definitely. Yeah, you should definitely.
I've only got a couple of platinums only, and I think all of those are from The Walking Dead.
Yeah. That's the best. Those platinums don't count. Ever. No, they most certainly do count because I'm still on Walking Dead season 3 and I haven't completed it yet. So those platinums, I don't care what anybody says, those count. There's other platinums out there in the world because I watch a lot of Kind of Funny because I love Kind of Funny daily, Kind of Funny games daily, and Greg Miller and at one time Colin Moriarty, they were like trophy whores basically. Like they would play the crappiest crappy game just because it was an easy platinum to get. So it's like another platinum on the the scoreboard. But no.
So when someone looks me up, they can see, oh my God, look at all the trophies she has. As I look over towards my gaming screen, look at her trophies. She's such a great gamer. Yes.
I mean, hey, you are a fantastic gamer. Okay, so I did want to get into some meaty God of War chat just for a little bit.
Okay.
So one of the things I thought was cool, it was the fastest selling PS4 exclusive. So that's pretty crazy to me because you think about the PS4 has been out for 5 years as of this year. It came out in 2013, and we've had some really, really awesome PlayStation 4 exclusives for sure. I mean, just in the last year alone, we had Horizon Zero Dawn, Nier Automata, I think is how you pronounce it, and I'm missing a bunch of other ones, but there's been quite a few really, really good exclusives. Oh, Persona 5 last year as well. So lots of great ones. God of War trounced them all. Like it's been selling tremendously well, which I think is really cool because it's single player driven. We're not getting a lot of those types of games anymore. It's it feels like it's few and far between because everything is a games as a service, multiplayer shooter games, which I'm okay with too. Like those games are just as much fun, but
not for me. I mean when you're a particular kind of gamer, I need story driven solo campaign games. That's what I don't want to hang out with other people. for the most part.
Yeah, I'm the only one you play multiplayer with.
Right, because I suck up everybody else's gameplay. I did a little bit in Destiny, and I found it to be fun. Yeah. I didn't know that it was supposed to be so much fun, so it was nice to try that out. But mostly I'm embarrassed by my gameplay, and I don't need you to see it. So that's pretty much my deal.
No, you should not be embarrassed by your gameplay or anything. I think your gameplay is definitely way better than you think about it. Your driving, horrendous. I mean, world's worst video game driver I've ever seen. I mean, I've literally recommended games for you that are just only driving, so you can work on your driving skills, because your driving is not too great.
Bad. Well, I didn't have to do that.
Yeah, luckily, no driving in God of War.
And the canoe was super easy to maneuver. I mean, I got really good at whipping it around to break a barrel. I mean, it was great. I was super good at that. But
you're like, I'm amazing. Why can't I drive a freaking canoe around? Grand Theft Auto 5. Where's the canoes at? State of Decay. Where's the canoes at?
We just uploaded my finished gameplay on Uncharted 4.
No, it was the Lost Legacy. It was the add-on.
Yes, that's it. Oh God, it was so bad, and I was watching it and just cringing and dying laughing at the same time. So
it was pretty funny. I love that the game, because I edited it, which I didn't have to edit much of it, because you crushed it. But as I was editing and watching some of it, you were driving pretty bad. It was funny to watch. And I loved it when, I think it's Nadine, because I haven't played that game. I think Nadine comments on, so glad this isn't my car.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I was embarrassed.
You're like, shut up, Nadine. Okay, so I've got some questions, and we have some viewer questions that you can ask us questions as well. It's oldasscasuals@gmail.com. So we've got some of those, and I'll get into that with you in a second. But okay, so overall thoughts on the game. You loved it, right?
Oh, yes. I mean, it was so good. A fantastic story. I want to find out more, and I'd like to play some of the previous versions of it. Although I've watched some of the gameplay of it, and it is not the same game. There's a lot of titties in it. So, and
are you opposed to the titties?
I'm just not a big fan of, and he's mean. Kratos seems really just like a shit in some of the old versions.
Yeah, no, he is. He's it's definitely a very drastically different Kratos, and I'm with you. The first thing I wanted to do too is I wanted more. I wanted more of this, more of God of War. Which luckily for me, I still have lots of side quests and Valkyries to kill, dragons to kill, and everything. So I'm okay there, because I'll be able to get some more in. But I wanted more story. I definitely wanted that. I wanted to find out more about Atreus and Kratos and Kratos' wife Faye and Freya, and just everything about it was really, really good. I will not go back and play the old God of War games. Just saying it right now. I played one of them back in the day for PS2, and I did not like it. Like, I did not like the way it controlled. It just didn't work for me. I know obviously it worked for a lot of people. It's very, like, the critical acclaim for those games is great. Now, they waned as it went on, because there's like 7 or 8 of them or something. So
really,
yeah. But what I was gonna do is I really wanted to just go back and watch all the cutscenes. Like, I wonder if somebody on YouTube has just put all the cutscenes together and made it into a movie, because I do want to go back and see the stories of him killing Zeus and all these other gods that he's killed over those games, because he was a violent bastard. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, just in a pissed off mood all the time. That woman is standing there with her boobies out. Why did you smush her? You let her get smushed. What's the deal? So I mean, I like I said, it was very little gameplay, but I'm like, whoa, this is a total different game I'm watching. So
yeah, I mean, for me, some woman's got her boobies out. I'm certainly not going to smush her. That's not my first inclination. Yeah. Hey, you want to go on this journey, because you got some great boobies.
Yeah, you got a nice rack. Let's go. Yeah, but that's not how he acted. So
that's lame. Come on, Kratos. Okay, so this question is from Steve from Nebraska, and again,
Hmm.
you can write us oldasscasuals@gmail.com and ask us questions. We would love to answer them for you. So, the story of God of Wars, it's all about the dad and his boy, and kind of a coming of age story for not only Atreus, but in my opinion, Kratos as well. Like,
Oh, heck yeah.
not maybe like coming of age, but just kind of
He
changing
learned
his.
he learned how to be a dad
Yeah,
because
exactly.
he had not up until that point. He'd left it all up to his wife. She'd
Yeah.
raised that kid.
Yes.
He was out, pouring it up.
Yeah, and beating, smushing old ladies' boobies or something. Okay, so for you, the question from Steve, he said, being a mom, how
Hmm.
was that? Was that, how did it impact you being a mom? Because obviously there are major differences between a dad and a son's relationship and a mother and son's relationship, or daughter, whatever.
Hmm.
There's just natural differences in life. So for you,
Right,
how did it impact you? And did you side with Freya at the end? Like, were you, because that was the mother-son relationship,
right,
So that was,
right.
I thought that was very interesting to kind
It
of see like
was
the
interesting.
contrast
Hmm.
of both of those storylines. So
I thought it was interesting because obviously there was a lot of times the way Kratos treated Atreus that I was like, oh, this poor kid has just lived with his mom that's been so wonderful and sweet, so that part was really hard.
yeah,
Um, and but I was able to identify it. He got warmer and softer and mushier. He got
yeah,
better as he went along. Stopped just going, boy, boy,
boy.
you know. Yeah, much better. You did a better job.
I
Um,
do it all. I'll just be randomly, because my dog Mac, he's behind me on the couch, and I'll come in when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, boy. And
Here, boy.
Mac's like, what?
Yeah.
What's going on right now? Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Again, I think obviously you being a parent, I'm your kid. We didn't put that out up front in this podcast.
I did. I did.
Oh, you
I said
did?
it.
Oh, okay. So I think as a parent, you probably would connect tremendously to this game. And it was interesting because through all these spoiler casts that I've watched, Corey Barlog was talking about in testing play sessions, the players that were in those testing sessions, the end of the game. Again, I mean, I guess I should have put up front that we're going to spoil it, but I mean, probably should have beat it by now, because I mean, if we beat it and we're the old ass casuals, you probably beat it like 2 days
Right.
after release.
Yeah.
So yeah, spoilers. So anyways, at the very end of the game, when Baldur and Kratos and Atreus, they're all fighting, and Freya's trying to break it up and stop, don't kill him, don't kill him.
Hmm.
And then Baldur has that moment where he's, killing his mom. Like, she's just like, just do it. Like, if that's what's gonna make you happy, like,
Right.
just
Right.
kill me. And so after that happens, I think that I can't remember if I don't think they had the line from Atreus, like, why would she allow him to do that? Why would she let him do that, Dad? And
Right.
and Kratos goes like, that was her son. She would, I would do the same for you, basically. Like, if somebody was
Right.
trying
Right.
to, I would die for you, more or less. And he was saying that in the play testing, like, people were hating it. And just like they're like, oh, that sucked. Like, why would she let him? Why would she let him do that? But it was because
It
they
was
were
all dudes.
It was all dudes and all like people without kids.
Right.
And so like they were gonna cut it. Like they were gonna, I think they were gonna change some way they did that or something. But they just added the line, I think, with Kratos, like kind of explaining it to the audience, like, why she would do that and everything. So.
Because
Yeah.
you remember throughout the game, when it was brought up about the guy that had killed his dad, and Atreus. It's one of the side quests. I don't know if you did it, but on one of the little islands, go to one of the little islands
Yeah.
on the Lake of Nine, and you'll do this. But he keeps asking him. He said, I would never do that. I would never do that. And then Atreus ends up getting where he's at odds with his dad,
Oh.
and suddenly it looks like, ooh, he maybe could get to that point of where he would kill his dad, or at least fight with him and hurt him.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's the super interesting thing about all that is, so in the previous God of War games, Kratos killed his father. And then so, you see Atreus, and like you're saying, like he starts going down a dark path, and it does seem like, I mean, he's freaking shot him with his arrow and stuff, while he was fighting. And so we also see at the very end of the game, whenever they get to spread their mother's, the mom's ashes and everything, and you see those murals, and there's that really ominous one where it's like there's snakes surrounding, or maybe one singular snake. I need to go back and look at it, but it's a snake or snakes surrounding Kratos and Atreus, and they're dead, or at least Kratos is dead, no doubt about it. And so it's interesting to think, like, will he kill Kratos in subsequent games or something? Because you find out so many interesting things right there at the end. The fact that Atreus is actually Loki, and he's, that is a really crazy thing because, for one, Odin and Thor, and they're all related to Loki. In a lot of in everything. Like now that I think Loki's, even in Norse mythology, I know obviously in the Marvel universe, he's an adopted son. Odin takes him in from the frost giants and everything. But even in the Norse mythology, especially the book that I've been reading, still the same thing. So it's super freaking interesting when you start like trying to break all that down. And again, I've watched a lot of spoiler casts, so there's some things out there that Cory Barlog has mentioned about some of those murals, and he basically said that there's seeds planted throughout the very beginning of the game where you can find out that he's Loki, like, automatically. Like, and there's stuff that's planted throughout the game that he said 3 games down the road will have payoffs, because what's that?
Didn't Mimir kind of allude to some of that stuff? Like when he's talking about, basically, I know what's going to happen, but I don't want to tell you what it is.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what Mimir's. So backstory on Mimir. He's one of the like most knowledgeable gods. He's he's got all the wisdom in the world and everything. And so what I did think was funny, because as I was reading this Norse mythology book from Neil Gaiman, because in God of War, the game, Mimir hates Odin, because Odin stuck him on the tree, and
in that tree.
But
let him stay there for hundreds and hundreds of years.
But in the Norse mythology, as far as I've gotten so far, like Odin and Mimir, they're pretty close. They're pretty tight.
Are they running thbuddies?
Yeah, like they're certainly not cutting his head off and putting it in a tree.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he kind of knows everything. That was what came out of a lot of the spoiler cast talk, was that Kratos' wife and Atreus' mother, Faye, she obviously prophesized all of this. I mean, because she was there in Jotunheim before they were, had all these murals done and everything, and so she's prophesized all of this, including the snake and serpent picture. So there's some very, very interesting stuff with Faye. Like, I want to know so much more about her. Yeah, about her backstory and everything. So.
It'd be kind of fun to, could we ever play as her? I mean, because obviously she's a total badass.
Yes.
So I would love some gameplay as her. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
If we can get an origin story.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wrote down here like what I want from God of War DLC or just God of War 2, which I don't know if I'd want it as a pure, like, straight up full sequel. Like, I would rather have it as a DLC or something in the same vein of like Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, where it's a full game, but it just may not be 30 hours again or something like that. But
it depends on your driving, how long it takes.
Exactly. Yeah, if there's lots of driving in there, it's like a 55-hour game. That's why you get all those trophies, because you're just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go off and drive over here and do some other things that I can get out of this dang car. So at the end, I mean, that's when it really blew my mind, and thank you for like you should go home, which they mention it in the very in conversation.
No, they don't.
They do. Atreus and Kratos are talking, and they're like, it's like we should go home, and so he put
so much of just an aside.
Yes, it's very vague, and Corey Barlog said he did that on purpose because he again. There's lots of stuff in this game. I mean, it's a very deep game, and that's why after I finish this book, I really want to go back and play it all over again after I've read a lot of this, mythology and whatnot. But so, yeah, you go back home, and I mean, to me, it was just one of those just tingle moments, goosebump moments when they wake up 3 years later and it's thundering lightning and everything, and you go out and you just see freaking you just see not the head, but you see like the rest of the body, and you see Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, and it just, I mean, I jumped on the couch. I was so excited to see that. So
I didn't want to tell you much. I was just like, be sure when you get done, just go home. Just go home.
Just go home. So what I would like to see is a prequel. And I would like to see it from the perspective of Faye, Kratos' wife, and and Atreus' mother, because of all the backstory between because she's a giant, and all the giants were basically slaughtered by Thor because whenever he got Mjolnir, whenever he was gifted that, he went out and I mean just he Thored shit up because he's like, look at this hammer, right? I'm a badass now, and just went out and destroyed all the giants, and so Faye and a lot of the other giants, they went in hiding, and that's why they're not really existing a lot in the game, and so I really would like to see that, like not only that, but just like see Faye, like Thor. I almost thought it would be cool to see kind of like play as Thor and as Faye, because they do such an amazing job with Kratos' hammer. His axe, and it always felt like I was Thor. Like, I mean, we talked about it a million times. I'm like, it feels like I'm freaking Thor from the Avengers movies. He goes, and it comes back to you every time, and I'm just like, holy shit! They just imagine if they made a Thor game as well, and so like, I really want to play as Thor at some part down the road, and just. I don't know. I thought it would be kind of fun to just tell the story of Thor and him getting Mjolnir and killing the giants, and then and then Faye getting basically taking the giants and running them away, and the story of her meeting Kratos, I think would be like have that in there. Yeah, yeah. And so I thought that like Lost Legacy is perfect to me because it's a side quest with two characters that you never get to play as, but they're obviously pivotal characters in the Uncharted universe. So yeah, I don't know. I thought it would be pretty badass. So
well, hopefully they'll listen.
Yeah, hopefully they'll listen to that. But okay, so last question for you: best game ever?
Oh, no. No.
All right, not your favorite game ever.
Not my favorite game. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It wasn't the favorite ever.
Wow.
I mean, I'm gonna probably still always go back to the same one, which is The Last of Us.
Okay, yeah. No, I think that's totally fair. Obviously, this game was getting thrown around as, this is the best game ever. Perfect 10.
And it had a very similar type story to me, and gameplay and feel to it. This one was probably more enjoyable. God of War was probably more enjoyable than The Last of Us. The Last of Us was so friggin' dark. I don't know if it's just you go back to something that for me that was so early in my beginnings of gaming that that it's like it holds that near and dear spot for me. I don't know. What about you? Was that like your favorite game so far ever in the history of games?
The history of games? No,
ever in the world.
I agree with you because I'm the same way. Resident Evil 1 for the PlayStation 1 is my favorite game of all time, and obviously like the when I line up God of War to Resident Evil 1 on the PS1,
Right.
you're like, oh, what? Like this game,
Yeah.
you like terrible controls, like it's just it's an outdated game.
Super clunky.
Yeah, super duper
But
clunky.
but you love it.
Yeah, I love it, and it means something to me because I mean it was early. I was much younger, and that was that was to me the first game where I was just like, video games are amazing. Like they're not just like, I get it, Mario Brothers and all that stuff from like the Nintendo and SNES days. They're great games. Don't get me wrong, but Resident Evil 1 was like, it was a cinematic experience, and it was, I mean, now granted they had some terrible cutscenes and some terrible dialogue in the game, but back then, the voice acting was so bad.
Yeah, it was not great.
Yeah, but so that being said, no, it's not my favorite game of all time. Is it one of my favorite games to play of all time though? Possibly, because
God of War.
Yeah, God of War. 45 hours later, I still get chills every time I call his damn axe back, and
I know.
just like I love it. The combat is so great, and like you said, it's similar to The Last of Us, and honestly a lot of games these days, because all these developers are growing up and now they're parents and whatnot.
Right.
Because The Last of Us, we get Joel and Ellie, and this one we get Kratos and Atreus, and I think there's been a couple of other examples like here recently of father-son games.
When you can add in that element of having to protect your child, it raises everything up.
Yes.
In the I mean, gameplay just means so much more when it's not all about your character. Mm-hmm. When you have to worry about the other character that is weaker, and yeah, I loved it. I thought it was super, super fun. And I didn't, like I said, I did not want it to be over. I spent a lot of time just floating around, just expecting to find something new.
Yeah, you're like, come on, there's got to be new stuff.
Yeah.
I will say that I never really thought about it this way, but they did a really masterful job of making it where your side character actually is great. Like,
please, he saved my ass so many times.
Yes,
I would have been dead over and over again if it wasn't for Atreus.
I know they did such an awesome job, because I was thinking back to The Last of Us, and like I mean it's been a long time since I've played it, but I felt like Ellie, sometimes she was a little bit more difficult to maybe protect than I would have wanted. I know maybe The Last of Us is a bad example, because I feel like they did a pretty good job of it as well. Maybe not to the level of God of War, but I mean God of War, it's a newer game, and things have changed and everything. So, and also he has freaking superpowers, so a little bit different.
God.
Yeah, he's a freaking half god, half giant. So he's pretty much a badass all around. But there's some games out there that, holy crap, you've got this AI character that you got to roll with that is the absolute worst, and you're just like, damn it, man! Like, can't you hide behind the building while I go take everybody out? Because they're like, no, I got this. I'm going in, and they go in, and and it's just like they get mowed down. And you got to go revive them, and you're just like, damn it, dude.
Now, because that being said, I'd like to move into the next game that we're playing.
Oh, yeah. Go. Well, you're playing it more so than I am, but I figured we would definitely had to talk about that for a little bit. So,
well, State of Decay 2.
Yeah.
So we both have our pants on. So aren't we so cool? I run into that a lot. You've got these other characters that you can bring along with you.
Yeah.
But they either just stand there a lot of time, or if you're trying to, like I finally learned how to stealth kill.
The stealth kills are so great in State of Decay 2. It gives me the freaking Carol from the Walking Dead vibe, or just any Walking Dead kill, because they're just like, go up to him and they right in the freaking head. Yeah,
it's so great, and it doesn't break down your weapon, and which I was constantly going through all these weapons because I thought I was stealth killing them, but I was just sneaking up to them and beating them to death.
Yeah.
But you're doing this like really great stealth kill, and they just run in
Oh my God, yeah.
and agitate everybody, and they like asswipe. So, but I'm having a lot of fun with that one too, and I was afraid I wasn't going to, because State of Decay 1, I was so bad. I just character after character. They'd give me another one. They'd be like, "Oh my God, you've gone through all of them," and it's one mission, and I would kill them. This one, I'm having a lot more luck with. I don't know if it's the game is just a little bit easier, if I'm just a little bit better of a gamer than I was before.
I would say so, because whenever we played State of Decay together, because we streamed it, this has been a couple of years ago, or we did a couple of videos on it, and then you purchased it. You've beaten a lot of games and a lot of difficult games since then. But that being said, State of Decay is hard. Like, there's no doubt about it. It can be an extremely difficult game. I'm glad you're having more fun with it, because I was super excited for both of us to get it, especially since it was co-op. And we're definitely going to be playing it on the channel here in the future. We're going to stream it together and whatnot.
I bought an Xbox just for this game.
You did indeed. More or less at this point, I bought an Xbox just for this game. But we've talked about it off the podcast and everything, where I've made it where my Xbox is going to be my streaming console, and my PlayStation is going to be my wonderful single player experiences that I just kind of take the time to enjoy for myself, because that was one thing that I know we weren't doing as much, is just kind of enjoying playing the games and just playing them solo and then coming back and talking about them. We were trying to like stream so many different types of experiences, and so I mean, the PlayStation is great for single player campaign games. Obviously, like, the exclusives are fantastic, but even like the third party, I just picked up Prey. I've heard that game is really cool.
Yeah, seriously, I can't wait to see some of that.
Yeah, I'll have to let you borrow it afterwards, because I actually got the physical disc. Because I got Prey, and then
I have to wait till after.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe I give it to you beforehand, since I'm so slow at playing them.
Yeah. All right. So how far have you got into State of Decay?
Oh, not far at all. My first house. I've only played it once since I got it, because I did the thing I always do when a new game comes out and I haven't beaten the old game that I purchased. I immediately I'm like, new and shiny, and I ran out and I got State of Decay 2. I got the Ultimate Edition so I could play it like 4 days early. I played it.
And did you?
I played it for 2 hours, but then I felt really guilty, because I had not beaten God of War yet, and I was like, nope.
And you should have felt guilty.
I know.
Because you need to finish these.
Yeah. Well, then
games up.
I do that, and then I go out to GameStop and I freaking buy Fallout New Vegas, Division, Prey.
Oh, okay. New Vegas. I really want to borrow New Vegas too.
Yeah, New Vegas is going to be a lot of fun, I think. Yeah, I got like the Xbox One, I don't know, it's the Ultimate Edition. I'm pretty excited to get into that, because I've heard Fallout New Vegas is like one of the actual best Fallout games.
I heard it was better than Fallout 4.
Which I'm excited for.
I put hundreds and hundreds of hours in Fallout 4. I loved it. So if it's better than that,
I think you're gonna freaking love the crap out of it. Me, like, I liked Fallout 4 a bunch. I did not like it as much as you did. Like, you were like enamored, in love with that game. Like, honestly, it felt like that was one of your favorite games of all time as you were playing it, because you played it so much.
I did. I loved it. I loved it. I mean, and I went back and played it over again, and built a new community. And it's interesting as you go through. I mean, I'm learning so much about games.
Yeah.
So, like with State of Decay 2, I'm learning. Don't just be stupid and just pick a character. You can actually look and see what their characteristics are, and see if it's somebody that's going to fit in your community. Because I was just letting anybody in that would come along.
Come on in, everybody.
I'm just so
you
excited.
Worthless person, come on in. You're gonna kill us all, but come on in.
Exactly. I was so excited if there was somebody that wanted to join my gang that I would let them come. And if leveled up a character,
Yeah.
okay, you won. You were the first one to get leveled up, so you get to be the hero of the community. And that's not the way it should work. So
No.
I'm learning a lot of things that hopefully will keep me alive. But I will also say, don't go to the plateau if you're just now getting State of Decay 2. Don't pick the plateau.
Is a bad spot?
I hate that spot. Hate it.
I forget what I picked.
Well, there's foothills, the valley, and the plateau. Those are the 3 places that you can start off. It's so rocky that you have to go way around to get to anywhere. At least that's been it for me. And I can't ever find my freaking house. It's hidden up in all these rocks, and I wreck my car every time I back it out of the driveway. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Never go into the plateau again. You're like,
nope.
Like F that. That'll be the one portion of the game I never beat. Like, because you eventually,
Nope.
you go to the other ones. Like wherever you start at, you eventually, I think, expand out to all of them. I guess is what I'm guessing.
Well, I killed the first community in the foothills. I killed them dead.
All of them out.
All of them dead.
Yeah, no, you've told me a few times. You're like, well, there's another community down, starting over again. Because it's funny because the really cool aspect of the game is the permadeath, and it makes you feel like there's so much more weight behind your choices and your decisions in the game, because you're like, holy crap, I send Larry out. And Larry gets killed, and Larry was like my, all-star fighter or something like that.
My guy, right?
Yeah, that's my dude, and he gets killed, and it just, it takes the morale down of your community, and you're just like, oh shit, now I got to go do all these other things to build the morale back up, and yeah, it's a very fascinating game. But I like how you do it. You're just like, I kill them all, and I just start a new community, and like I have no ties to you losers.
Well, I've had one character that I fell in love with.
Yeah.
Just loved this guy. He was solid and a great fighter, and just had all these wonderful attributes. He got pissed and left the community while I was out on a run. So
it's messed up. You must have been doing something wrong for him to peace out.
Oh, obviously. Yeah. Obviously.
Oh wait, you've got to tell the story of your character that you lost. That was, I think it's a fantastic story of.
Oh my God. Okay, so I had a character that in State of Decay 2, you can get blood plague from these zombies that carry the blood plague, and that's the whole purpose, is to try to find the cure and to kill all the blood plague zombies in your area. So this guy had it. He only had 2 hours left to live. There was no one else around to go on a run, so he had to go with me. We're going to the place that has medicine so that I can actually cure him. I killed a couple of screamers and 10 zombies and one friggin' juggernaut.
Damn.
And my game glitched, and I couldn't see the commands on the screen anymore, and accidentally banished him.
When you told me this story, I was just like that. I said, first thing I said, I was like, oh my God, I wish you would have had that recorded, because that's one of those moments where, because there's a famous video, at least from my perspective, it's pretty famous. You just type in video game rage, and it's this guy. I think he's playing a sports game, and he gets super pissed, and he just throws the controller at the TV. It automatically breaks the screen. That's rage enough right there. But then he walks up to it and just punches the crap out of it. And you see the screen just break all in the TV.
Well, I was proud. I didn't break anything, but I was pretty upset, because then he turns to me and he says, "I just wish you would have just killed me."
Even more brutal, right?
And I'm
there.
like, I didn't try to do this. It was terrible. And then my character just she got hung up, and she's just making the same motion. Everything's going on around me. So anyway.
Well, yeah, that happens in this game. That's a nice, very nice segue, by the way, as well, into some very quick news items. We'll be quick with these because I'm ready to get into some E3 discussions. So, talking about State of Decay 2, it actually just got a patch. We both downloaded it already. It's a freaking humongous patch.
20 gigs.
Yes.
So there must have been a few things that were wrong.
Yeah. I mean, there's quite a few things that were wrong. I mean, you had experienced one of them right there. That was, there's just like lots of game glitches and whatnot. I'm not going to go through all of these patch notes, but we'll just say the highlights of the patch notes. It increased the stability of the game, improved networking interactions for clients, whatever that means. Improved networked vehicle interactions. Oh, maybe that means, I think that's obviously when you're playing co-op, I think, because I have heard a lot of issues when people are playing co-op. Like, apparently that's when the game has been its most buggy and janky, is when people play co-op. And then it says elimination of out-of-memory crashes. Some of these crack me up because it says patch 1.2 highlights. First one. Grenades no longer get stuck and explode in front of client's character's face or behind their head while throwing. What?
Well, see, because I had thrown some, and it didn't let you throw it out away. You just dropped it. And obviously, you and whoever was close to you went flying backwards. I didn't kill myself, luckily. But yeah, that pissed me off.
That really pissed me off.
Yeah. One thing I have noticed, though, since the patch, it's harder to see when you're going through and collecting things, which you do all the time in this game. You can't see what it is a lot of times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is annoying. So I have to scroll over to something else and then go back and it'll show me what it is.
Gotcha.
So that's not, I don't like that.
Yeah, well, I'm sure if you're experiencing it, I'm sure lots of people will do it as well. I thought this one was pretty funny as well. Improved network vehicle interactions in multiplayer games to address weird rubber banding and physics issues, parentheses, including cars flying into the air. What?
Fine.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds awesome to me. I want to get away from these zombies really bad. Pew! We get on my flying car real fast. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
I can make cars fly a lot, though, actually.
Yeah. Oh, I bet you.
I do that all the time.
And then they blow up, I bet, right? Is that what they fly and then they explode? Yeah, so I thought this is great. The State of Decay, it came out, it was janky, didn't work great.
Yeah.
It was not.
It's okay. It's fun as all get out.
Yeah. I mean, once I get into it, I'll be able to know a little bit more how much I like it. But the 2.5-3 hours I played, I really enjoyed it. It was more State of Decay.
Yes.
But I will say that I think I was maybe hopeful for more, based on how like Microsoft was pumping it up so much, and I just felt like this was going to be like finally Microsoft, a really great exclusive game to their console, and it just kind of didn't work out. As Sea of Thieves and this now have kind of both been not duds, obviously, because I like State of Decay 2 a lot, and Sea of Thieves. I wasn't really into it.
I played it and I didn't like it.
Well, I think it's one of those games where you gotta play with people. Like Sea of Thieves, it's a streamer's game, is what that is. That is the very fantastic example of this game is meant for streaming and all of that kind of stuff, because there's going to be those amazing moments where you and your crew are playing and they're streaming it, and it's like one of the most amazing video game moments of all time. But if you're playing it alone, not really going to have that experience, I don't think, with Sea of Thieves. State of Decay 2, you can have those moments alone. That's what I love about it. It's one of those games where, again, like we talked about earlier, choices matter.
Yes.
The way you play the game is very crucial. The
People
permadeath.
that you ignore, that
Yes.
you don't go help them out. Next time you go there, they shoot you in the head.
There you go. Yes.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think State of Decay 2, right? I mean, you've got into it way more than I have,
Hmm.
but I agree. Like, it's super fun, and at the end of the
Yeah.
day, graphics don't matter all that much. It's all about like how fun the game is. Now, I will say
Yeah.
it was hard for me to go from God of War immediately into State of Decay 2 because God of War is absolutely freaking beautiful.
Yeah.
One of the prettiest games I think I've ever played in my life. Maybe the
Oh,
prettiest game I've ever played
yeah.
in my life.
Yeah.
And so then you go to State of Decay 2 and you're like, this looks like an Xbox 360 game. So
Oh, let's make a run. Okay. Can I go with you?
yeah,
That's yeah.
yeah, it's a little
That's kind of how it feels. Yeah.
yeah.
And I was disappointed that it is State of Decay 1 over
Hmm.
again. It just
Yeah,
is.
it
I thought it was going to be a little different.
yeah. I wouldn't say it's State of Decay 1. I feel like it's State of Decay 1.5, like 1.5.
Yes.
Like, it's
Mhm.
not completely the evolution of State of Decay because of that game. The game loop in State of Decay is phenomenal, and that's what keeps everybody coming back and don't really care about the jankiness of the game or the all the stuff, the glitches and everything that goes along with State of Decay because it's so much fun to play it, and it's just such just a great game loop, in my opinion, of like going out, collecting stuff, building your base up, getting people to join your community, making helping them survive. But yeah, I don't know what I was expecting, to be honest, but maybe I think what I was expecting was State of Decay 1, but then with this amazing story as well. Like, that's what I thought they were really going to flesh out with this, but it really, like, the story,
There's no story.
yeah, exactly. It doesn't really matter all that much, and I get it, like, the game's not really meant, I guess, for that kind of like a really great story, but at the end of the day, it would have been a lot cooler had it had it. So, all right. So, getting into some other news really fast. State of Decay 2 is awesome. Patches out. All good stuff. I thought this was really cool. This indie gaming subscription service, and this is from Hardcore Gamer, from Marcus Estrada. I didn't even know this was a thing, but it's called Jump, and it gives you an instant access to a game library full of indie titles. And it says every month the service adds new titles to an ever-growing catalog. And it says as of now there are more than 100 games available. Some of the games, I've never heard of these games. So it's like, I mean, literally, I've never heard of any of these games. Cognition, these are games that came to Jump this June. The Enchanted Cave 2. The thing, I didn't really care about the games that were on there. I just thought it was a really interesting idea that I wanted to talk to you about just briefly.
Yeah.
It's $4.99 a month. Like, it's extremely cheap, and I think that's something like with indie titles that it's really tough sometimes to buy them because, especially like on the PlayStation, I think PlayStation is probably the not, I wouldn't say the worst offender. It's actually a really great thing, but they have a tendency to come out with an indie game. Let's just say it's $19.99, $29.99, whatever it is, $14.99, but then it feels like a couple months later it's on PS Plus, and so I'm always like, should I buy this? And then I
Right,
know that I
right.
miss out on so many great experiences because I'm like, oh, it's probably going to come to PS Plus eventually. I'll
Right.
just wait. That doesn't mean that it is going to come to PS Plus, and then I missed out on this like fantastic experience. As I was watching the Video Game Awards, What Remains of Edith Finch, I think it won Game of the Year, like over freaking Zelda, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I played. That was one of the indies
Yeah.
that I actually got to play last year, and it was phenomenal. And it was one of the coolest experiences that I've had in video games in a very long time. It was very short, but it was just there. It was a great story. I loved the art style. Everything about it was just fantastic. But you haven't played it, right? And a lot of people probably a lot of people probably got to the Video Game Awards and were like, what the hell is this game? Like,
Right.
what remains
Yeah.
of Edith Finch? It's like one
Yeah.
of those like super indie, movie titles that wins
you're
all the
like,
Academy Awards. You're
Who
like,
saw this?
yeah, what theater even played this crap? It's not crap. They're usually pretty good. Some of them not that great, but I just thought this was cool. I think this could be something that
Okay,
would be
so do
interesting.
you know Maybe if I have a couple questions, I wonder if you can answer them.
Doubt it.
Okay, it's $4.99.
Yeah.
Is there like a limited number of games that I can do? Do you have any idea how that works?
It says unlimited on-demand indie gaming.
Okay, what's it called again?
Jump.
Jump. All right.
Yeah. Now this is computer games though. I will say that. So, I know. Sorry.
Did you see me throw the pen?
I saw you throw the pin. I mean, it looks like they have a lot of great titles. The End is Nigh, Nidhogg. Yeah, lots of really cool stuff on here. What people are saying,
Maybe
Jump
stuff
is
I can play at work.
Yeah, there you go. Jump is the best Netflix for games subscription service yet. So this is something that I think we're going to start seeing quite a bit more of. I mean, there's GameFly that's been around for, I don't know, quite some time. Because you can't really, like, renting games really isn't a thing anymore. Obviously Netflix is basically taken TV and just completely changed the entire landscape of how we watch television, how we consume television and movies and everything. So I don't know. Thought it was cool. Thought it would, worth putting on the radar. So a couple other quick ones. Let's see. Nah, we're not going to go into Xbox just yet. No. This one I thought is worth putting out there. Red Dead Redemption 2. The pre-order bonuses for the game have been revealed because the game's going to be super popular and everybody's going to buy it. So so this is what you get if you pre-order the game. You get the Warhorse, the Outlaw Survival Kit. You get a cash bonus in Red Dead Redemption 2 Story Mode. You get a bonus of $500,000 to spend in GTA Online. And you get an exclusive treasure map in story mode for those who pre-order before July 31st. The game releases on PS4, Xbox One, and that's it. Yeah, on October 26th. So got a ways to go for this game, but I thought it was pretty interesting.
Okay, and it is for both consoles.
Yes,
this time instead of because last time it was just Xbox. Mm-hmm. Right? Because I couldn't.
No, it was for PS3 as well. Yeah, Red Dead Redemption came out for Xbox and PS3. The thing is for Xbox, you can literally buy, just like I did with Fallout, you can buy the physical game and put it in your Xbox and play it, unlike the PS4, which uses the PlayStation Now service, which I've heard it's gotten way better, but I don't know, there's something about it. I tried it once and I was like, this sucks, and I never went back to it again. So I think they need to do a better job of like getting out there and be like, hey, it's better now. It doesn't suck like it did before. I know,
but you do like going to the store and getting a physical copy anyway, so which is smart.
Yeah, I know. I do love that. So, all right, last news story.
You can loan them to your mom and trade those suckers in later, but mostly loan them to your mom.
Yeah, you're like, just loan them to me and they'll never come back to you. So, this is the last news story from GamesIndustry.biz. Rebecca Valentine wrote this. Fortnite and God of War break monthly revenue records. So we talked about earlier that the God of War was the fastest selling PS4 exclusive. This kind of gives you a little bit of how much money they made. So in April, Fortnite smashed its own record for the month and made $296 million across console, PC, and mobile. That's insane for a free-to-play game.
Free game. A game that is absolutely free. Now, of course, you and I got in on it when we spent money on it.
Yeah, we did.
So, but that's all right.
You're welcome, Epic.
Yes,
we were there for you. It's funny to me because I finally got on Twitter.
From the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. We were there from the beginning, people. I went on Twitter for the first time in a long time. Again, I kind of disconnected
Getting
from
back
the
out
world.
to the world.
Yeah, and so I went on Twitter, and I'm pretty sure back whenever we were streaming Fortnite, and when we were really excited about the game coming out, and when we purchased the freaking game, they had like no followers on their Twitter account. 7 million now or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that game has just exploded. It's freaking everywhere.
See, if we would have been smart.
I know. We could have been Ninja,
Yes, exactly. We would be rich.
Yeah, the only thing is I suck at Fortnite, and Ninja's really good. So, That's one thing. And he also
It's
streams
so much.
like for
It's
15
so
hours a
much
day.
fun, though.
Yeah,
It is so much
yeah, I love it. I'm
fun.
sad.
That game is so great.
Yeah, I'm sad that we haven't gone back to it. So, and then it talks about Superdata's April digital games report showed that console spending is up an impressive 44% on digital games, thanks to both Fortnite and God of War. God of War sold 2.1 million digital units, setting a record as the fastest-selling PS4 exclusive of all time. It more than doubled the sales of the previous record holder, Uncharted 4. Sorry, Mom.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That breaks my heart.
I think that's
How
just
is that
digital.
possible?
I think that's just digitally, though.
Okay.
I think that that's just like, because digital games have changed a lot over the last couple of years. I mean, it's become way more prevalent to buy your games digitally than it was when Uncharted 4 came out. Like,
Right.
for all we know, Uncharted 4 might have been one of those last, games that was just this complete crazy event, like for getting the physical copy.
Right.
Because lots of people get the digital now. So, all right, so that's it. That's all the news.
Okay.
Quickly, sort of quickly, quickly an old ass casual's way of quickery.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Less than 6 hours.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Believe me, I already knew that this podcast was gonna be
Going to be
extremely
the
long.
longest one ever.
Yeah, this will be the
just
longest one.
Yes, it's just we don't talk to each other unless there's a microphone in front of us.
Yeah.
So it's been 7 months since we spoke to each other.
We got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, hell, I could have made the news about 7 months long, because that's how that's how long we were gone, and there's been obviously a lot more news stories.
Breaking out all the pieces of paper. There has been a lot.
Yeah, there's lots of news, but those were like some of the more recent things. And so, each and every week, whenever we do the podcast, we'll talk about... What's that?
That's what makes it news, is when it's recent items.
I will stab you through this freaking computer screen. Yes, that is by very definition of the news. So, but yeah, so we'll talk more news in the future as we go along with the podcast. But all right, so it's time to get into E3 talk.
All right,
let's get into the real deal.
Okay.
Discussions about E3. So just to get it out there really quickly. So E3, it kicks off, in my opinion, it kicks off Sunday, June 10th. So we're gonna go through like what we want and what we're excited about and just all that kind of good stuff. And I just wanted to get this out there really quickly before we get into this discussion. So this is the list of games that are confirmed for E3. Let's see, and I'll read them really quickly because some of these games I don't really know. I'll read the ones that I know we're excited about. So Anthem, it's confirmed to be there. We saw Anthem last year at E3. Looked amazing. Freaking Iron Man flying around. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So we got Assassin's Creed Origins. Now we're going to get Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Battlefield 5. Beyond Good and Evil 2. Don't know how to pronounce this one, but I remember this title. Call of Cthulhu. Who knows? But I remember that being a game that's been around for a while. I thought it should have already been out yet, but it's not. Call of Duty Black Ops 4, obviously with the whole battle royale mode, the blackout. I'm pretty sure they're going to show off that blackout mode, which I'm actually pretty excited for. It looks pretty badass.
Yeah.
Call of Guardians. Oh, that's an iOS Android game. No, I'm just kidding. Some of them are great.
Okay.
Some of them are great.
See, and that's the deal. I wanted to ask you, will they debut any games there that are strictly for my phone, time wasters for me at work? Because that's what I need.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a game that I purchased. I haven't played it just yet. It's called Florence, and I've heard it's amazing. So yeah, I would definitely check that one out. I do like some games on my phone. It's just I'm just that when I play a game, I want to have my console, I want to have my controller in my hand and everything. But there are some really great games out there for your iPhones and your Samsung Galaxies and whatever the hell else you have. So all right, so Death Stranding is going to be there. So PS4, Dreams for PS4. That one looks very interesting. The Division 2 is going to be there. Fallout 76, and then Ghost of Tsushima or Tsushima. I don't know.
That one looks really good.
It does look phenomenal.
Yeah. What are you? You're a samurai, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
You're a ninja. I can't remember if it's like you're a samurai and you're progressing to a ninja, or you're a ninja
To a
progressing to a
ninja.
samurai.
Yeah, I think you're trying to progress to a samurai.
Yeah, probably so.
Anyway, it looked awesome.
Yeah,
So.
it does look very awesome. Last of Us Part 2, Rage 2. No. I'm just going the ones that we already know that they're confirmed to be there. So like it's not like a surprise or anything like that. These games are going to be there.
Last year. Was it last year or the year before when they?
It was the year before.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna get to that question for you in just a second too. Spider-Man is gonna be there, and then probably like the Super Smash Bros is gonna be there. And there's a long list of rumored games. We'll get into the rumored stuff with like stuff that we're like excited about seeing. And this is for us,
Yeah.
Just because we disclude some game doesn't probably mean that we probably just didn't know about it.
Right.
Because or maybe we're just what we've seen we're just not as excited about.
And of course, you just have to email us at oldasscasuals@gmail.com, because that's what the old people always.
The www, or actually it's http://
Yes.
and then the old ass casuals. Well, speaking of, we got a question from Brandon from Dallas, Texas, of all places, the greatest city in the world. Not so much, but it's a really good city.
It's all right. It is all right.
It's not as good right now because it's hot. It's super hot here. I mean, I just go outside and I'm sweating all over the place. He asked, so this will lead us into our E3 discussion.
Okay.
What is you guys' favorite E3 moment of all time, or just the last few years? Because I know for you, like, which is still all time, you haven't been paying attention. You didn't pay attention to them until probably 2014 or 15, right around there. So, for you, do you have a moment that sticks out in your head that's like, this is the moment? I think I know what it is already.
Last of Us 2.
That's what.
I mean, because we didn't know that we were ever going to get one, a sequel to the game, and all of a sudden, they start playing the trailer, and everybody in the auditorium loses their shit.
Yeah.
And I lost mine, and we have a video on our YouTube channel of me just bawling about it, because that's the game just left such an impact with me.
Yeah.
That meant a lot to me. What about with you?
I was thinking about this too. I was trying to figure out like what would be my favorite moment. There's for me it's hard to like place like a favorite moment. I mean, for you, like that's a specific example. And for me, I don't know if I have one off the top of my head, because what I love about E3 the most is those moments, the moments where we get the unexpected, didn't even know it was in development. Because if you follow along with the video games industry, there's lots of leaks and stuff comes out way beforehand. But I mean, there's those moments where you had no clue and it's just like blows your mind. But I would say for me, this is kind of a cheat. It's not a specific moment, but whenever I was growing up and E3 wasn't as big of a deal as it is now. It was still a very big deal in the video game industry. I watched a documentary from GameSpot about the history of E3 and how it went from it went away for a while. The cool thing, it was like in Atlanta, Georgia for a couple of years, like way back in the day. But what I like the most is whenever I would get the video game magazines back in the day, and they would have all their E3 coverage, and it's just, you get a damn screenshot. Like, think about it nowadays, like we're watching these trailers and it's amazing. I mean, that's all you got back in the day. It was screenshots of games, and I would just pour through those magazines and just look at those little screenshots and be like, oh my god, this is the greatest game ever. I think Resident Evil might have been like one of those moments for me, of where I first saw it. I think was like it was either back in the day, it was like EGM, I read GamePro. Those are some of the bigger magazines that I remember back in the day. So yeah, for me, that's it. That's mine.
Yeah,
that's mine.
No, and don't you kind of miss that, getting it in that format instead of the dissection that we do now of watching every single second of it. And I don't know. I feel so bad. I know. I do. I love watching. I love getting that instantaneous that we're knowing about it at the same time that everyone else is finding out, which is pretty incredible.
It's great. I mean, I get Game Informer magazine every month, and I still love that. But it's often humorous to me because it's like that stuff's already all happened, and like that's right. The news cycle has already moved on from the majority of the stories that they have in there, or like the game previews and stuff. What I really would like Game Informer to do is to start. They have these amazing like blowouts of games. They just did one for Days Gone. They did one for Spider-Man, and it's like all these in-depth interviews. In written form with the developers and everything. And I mean, like these are like 15-page spreads in the magazine, which is a pretty considerable chunk. That's the kind of stuff that I really like to see in Game Informer, and also their reviews. I still like reading their written reviews and stuff. But the game preview section, I'm like, which I think they've minimized because I mean, come on, like they're like, what? We can't compete with a trailer a month after the trailer's already aired. Like it doesn't really do you much good. Now, if it's a game that nobody's seen anything for it, I think it's really good. Like those magazines, it's like the only one left that I know about. Is to like highlight those games that we wouldn't know about, like not the God of Wars and the Death Strandings and all that, but like the little indie games that they're not gonna spend any time with. Yeah, they don't have the budgets a lot of times. So yeah, that's it. So okay, so we're gonna get into this. Do you want to go by conference, or how do you want to do it?
You can if you want, because all my notes that I took, I didn't write down who was bringing it. So, which is really terrible of me.
No.
But
I wouldn't. I don't expect that because there's a lot of conferences. So well, you tell me, because I've got things on here for each one of them. Not a lot on each one, because some of them I'm just like, I'm just more excited to see what they put out there. So you tell me.
Go ahead. You can go through that. And like I said, when I tell you the games that I'm excited about, I'm not going to know which conference it's.
Yeah, which publisher or whoever made them. So.
I mean, other than it's Sony and the biggies.
Yeah.
Those I know.
Not Naughty Dog. I know Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
That's your jam. Okay, so Sunday kicks off with EA, Electronic Arts. Honestly, for me, Electronic Arts, the EA conference is typically in my opinion, the worst one out of all of them, because they focus a lot on their sports games, which they should. I'm not like begrudging them that. They make a boatload of cash, and they need to put that stuff out there. It just doesn't resonate with me. That's okay. It obviously does with a lot of people that have money and spend money on all their games. But what I want from the EA conference is something similar to what we got last year with A Way Out. Remember how pumped we were for A Way Out, and it came from it was Electronic Arts. That was one of their games. They published the game, so that's what I'm really looking forward to seeing, something like that, something that I don't know anything about, and we're like, oh man, that looks great.
Yeah, but that involves them going out of their wheelhouse, which they completely did.
Yeah.
With A Way Out, which was really fun, by the way. Just a super short. I loved the fact that they did this, and we both didn't have to own it. I mean, to me, that's one of the biggest things that I just have to say. That was a very cool move on their part to not. It was a co-op game, but you didn't make everybody buy the copy of it. So that was pretty cool.
I thought that was way cool because what's that?
I was just gonna say, didn't they create the game, the driving game where you hit the soccer ball? Was that EA?
Oh no, Rocket League. No, that's Psyonix. Yeah. No, they made that game. Yeah, which is a great game as well. And you're totally right about the fact that not having to buy 2 copies of the game. Again, EA, they have a really bad reputation in the industry. A lot of it is deserved because some of their business practices aren't all that great. But I grew up with EA, and EA was one of my favorite game developers and publishers back in the day. Like they did a lot of stuff, and they're obviously still doing a whole lot of good stuff. Anthem is their big one that they're going to show off, and I'm excited to see more of Anthem. You know, it's supposedly going to be very similar to Destiny, but hopefully doesn't make a lot of the same mistakes that Destiny 2 has made and Destiny 1. And there's a game from a developer, Respawn, and they're working on a Star Wars game, and supposedly it may be like an MMO like Destiny or The Division, and that I would absolutely love to see. They've butchered the Star Wars franchise, in my opinion, thus far. EA has, since they've taken it over. I mean, Disney had to basically slap their hand, you know, and be like, "Yo, you're making us look bad with the Star Wars name. Like, you know, fix your shit." So yeah, for me, that's really all I want out of EA. See some more of Anthem, something similar to A Way Out, like that's really cool, a $30 title, you know, something like that. That's a lot of fun, and obviously something. I want to see a single player Star Wars game. Not going to happen, but if it's a Star Wars MMO, I'm all about that. So all right, so that's EA. Quickly through them. So the next conference up on Sunday is Microsoft. So do you have anything that you're excited for with Microsoft that you know of? Because I mean,
that again, I didn't write them down, so not that I know of.
No, I mean, well, I wouldn't expect you to,
terrible.
because, well, I mean, you're a Sony, like that's your main console, and that's been your main console for a while. With PS, you know, you had a PS3, and then you've got the PS4, and you're just more familiar with their games. And Microsoft hasn't had a lot of.
No. Yeah, and for me to even own an Xbox, I felt dirty. You know, it's like, you know, I am all about the PlayStation on the Sony product.
Yes, you're a Sony pony, is what they, you know, like the haters like to call all the Sony fans. But I mean, I like both of them. I love my 360, my Xbox One, not as much. It's still a great console, and they're doing a lot of really great things with like their services. Their services is where they're really beating PlayStation and Sony at this point. I mean, the Games Pass is fantastic. Backwards compatibility is great. They just came out with that new controller that's very accessible with people with disabilities.
But it's also $200.
Yeah, no,
or is it higher than that? It's expensive.
I'm sure it's expensive, but I mean, you got to think like.
Yeah.
I'm sure the technology behind putting that together had to have been difficult, because you just think about, you know, all the different movements that you have to make in a video game, and even, you know, like our controllers are, I mean, hell, these are like limited with the amount of buttons that they have already. So yeah, trying to like pare that down, I don't know, it's crazy, but I love that. So okay, my Microsoft is like my craziest / most anticipated conference this year, and it's not because they've done anything in the past that should make me think that they're going to do something great. But
I mean, because usually their conference is pretty stinko. No,
well, it's not stinko. It's just that they haven't gave us any exclusives. Like they've come out with like amazing third-party games that get announced, but they're for every system. And so that's the thing, is like we haven't gotten something that is just theirs.
Okay, before you get to it, let me just ask you, what is the big deal? Why do people get their panties in such a wad about exclusives? I mean, you know, why can't we buy one console and play all the games on it?
Well, I can't. I mean, money. It's called money.
I get that, you know.
Sony's not going to be like, well, we'll just let Microsoft make that console, or, you know, Nintendo's like, yeah, we'll just let Sony. I mean,
I'm just saying, if Sony develops a game, make it where you can play it on Xbox. Also, well, you know, you still make money off of it. You know,
yeah, you do. But
to me, the whole thing is just about, you know, because everyone has their favorite of. You know, because obviously they screwed up in their placement of where the buttons are.
I love my Xbox controller. Like I think this is like the best controller. It's so sturdy. It's not. It feels just so
It is
great in
sturdy.
your hand, and I don't know. I like it more than the PlayStation controller. That's for sure. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
It's a newbie question, so that's
Yeah.
just fine.
Well, I
All
think
right, so let me hear what you.
maybe in the future it may happen.
Yeah.
You know, who knows? Because at one point in time in the history of Sony's PlayStation, it was a Nintendo console. Like it was going to be a Nintendo console, and then they both got pissy at each other, and they broke that agreement off. And then PlayStation said, "Well, f you guys, we're gonna come out with the Sony PlayStation," and just, I mean, they ate Nintendo's lunch. Like they kicked their ass.
Won all the monies.
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't even be a company at this point if it wasn't for the PlayStation. When's the last time you went out and bought any Sony product other than a PlayStation?
Yeah.
Like think of like I don't buy a Sony TV. I mean, they're great. Their stuff's great. It's just like all these other companies have came out with like cheaper products that are just as good.
Yes.
So yeah. But anyway, so it's neither here nor there. All right, getting into my batshit crazy Microsoft predictions / wants. My first one out of the gate, wildest one, but I just have a feeling that they're going to show this off. And the reason why the Microsoft one to me is going to be the craziest and best one is because yes, these games are going to be shown off. They'll be available for PlayStation, but they're going to show it on Microsoft's conference because of the Xbox One X, because that's the most powerful console. The games are going to look the absolute best, so they're going to want to show their shiny new third-party game off at the Microsoft conference. BioShock 4, like that's it.
Okay,
I want a new BioShock.
Which would make me so happy because I've played all of those games.
Yeah.
And I would love to continue that.
Yes.
So that'd be great. I'm with you. I like it.
I'm super excited. I just have a feeling like that studio's been working on something for a while. I think the last BioShock came out in 2012 or 2013.
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while since Infinite came out, and I think it's time for a new BioShock. And then I think we're going to see something with Gears 5 and Halo 6. I think that they're just going to have to show something there. I don't know how... Halo 6 should be pretty close to being done, like a 2019 title, I would think, because it's been a while since Halo 5 came out. The one thing that I will say that would be really badass to see, and we've seen some of this between, the different manufacturers, different publishers with Nintendo lately, or just with just different characters showing up in games that are made by other made by other people. So what I think would be the coolest thing ever, even though I don't even own this console to be able to play the game, but I just think people would lose their shit, is if Master Chief from Halo showed up as a playable character in Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Switch. Like, I just think that would be the coolest thing ever. It would get Halo on more mind, like it would take up some more mind share, because Halo's kind of lost a little bit of its luster lately. And that would be like, you got the Nintendo Switch people like getting to play as Master Chief, and you get the Halo people being like, oh, I want to, honestly, it would benefit Nintendo tremendously, but I still think at the end of the day, it would still help Microsoft as well, because it would be this huge reveal. They've done such an awesome job with their crossplay, like allowing Minecraft to be played on all their, like on an Xbox, but also on the Switch and the PlayStation. Rocket League, for example, you can play Rocket League against people like an Xbox, and one of them has a Nintendo. They can play against each other,
which I love that idea.
Yeah, they're really good about that kind of stuff, and they've really made Sony look really like they're kind of lame because Sony's like, no, we're not going to allow any crossplay. You got to buy it on our console. So yeah, Sony hasn't played very nice with that, but I think that would be absolutely amazing. I think we're going to see. I haven't talked in a while for a lot, losing my voice. I think we're going to see Cyberpunk 2077. That one's going to be pretty badass. That's from the people that made The Witcher. I wish I never.
Which, I didn't complete it. It's one of those games that I have it. I need to go back and finish it,
Yeah.
I think I was playing it when Horizon came out, and so again, that like you, something
Yes.
shiny.
Yeah.
I had to move on. So,
No, I know.
um,
I need to go back to Witcher 3 as well. I mean,
yeah,
it's hailed as one of the best games of all time. I can't live my life without
yeah,
ever having beat that game. I'm more excited for Cyberpunk 2077 though than I would have been for The Witcher. Like I get that it's weird to say that because well yeah, of course you're more excited because Cyberpunk's going to be new, but no, like if they were put side by side, I would want Cyberpunk
right,
2077 more because I love that world, like the Blade Runner type worlds.
right.
I think that's very fascinating, and I just want to go live in that. So I'm super excited. I think they're going to show that on the Microsoft stage, and then I think we're also going to get to see Rocksteady's new game. They're the creators of the Batman, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City games,
Hmm.
or yeah, no, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. I think that's the ones that they all did. And I think it's going to be a Superman game. It's been rumored. People have been talking about it. Like, is it going to be a Justice League? Is it going to be a Superman? Or is it not going to be anything to do with those characters at all? So I think that could be something really badass to see. They did such an amazing job with the combat in Batman and just getting to see a good Superman game because that doesn't exist. Superman 64 back in the
Right.
day, it's like one of the worst games of all time. So
That's what I was going to ask you. Would you play? Would that be something that you would be interested in?
definitely,
Hmm.
most definitely, and not only that, but the stories were great in the Arkham series. Like they were really, really
Yeah.
solid stories. The voice acting was phenomenal. So,
Hmm.
yeah. So between uh, Spider-Man being made by Insomniac, which it's like finally they went out and got a good developer to make their game because for so long, anytime you got licensed products like or properties like a Spider-Man or a Superman, a Batman, it would be these like crappy, terrible movie tie-in games that were just
Right.
junk to put like to take advantage. Luckily, that hasn't really happened over like the PS3 and PS4's lifespan, or just like the last two console generations. It really hasn't happened as much. That's more like
Those are money making
oh yeah,
ideas, though.
no,
You tie them in.
of course,
Everybody's super excited. I went to the theater to see just saw it at the movies. Now I'm gonna go home and play it.
yeah, no,
And I'm
no doubt
gonna
about
order a bunch of shit to put on my shelf
it. Yeah, yes, exactly.
as I look at all the money I've spent on my
On your collectibles and
my
whatnot.
shelves.
So,
Hmm.
yeah. So
Hmm.
I think Microsoft's going to have a really good conference. They may even get an Alan Wake sequel or something like that. I think that might happen at the Microsoft conference. It's been a while since we had an Alan Wake game, and people love those games. I have one on my. I think I have it. I just haven't played it yet. So, all right. So yeah, Microsoft. I'm very excited about them. Again, I'm looking forward to their conference the most.
Okay.
Mainly for like what they're going to show off because they're going to show off some amazing third-party games, and just because I'm ready to see what they can do because they've been kind of not so great lately with their they've been kind of struggling. So, all right. So moving on, Sunday night is Bethesda. Do you have anything for Bethesda? This is the makers of Fallout.
Well, I'm excited to play the new Fallout game. I'm super excited about that, which that unfortunately just came on my radar the other day.
Yeah, well, it just got leaked
Um,
or it didn't get leaked. They
yeah,
actually announced it. They had that really weird
they put some,
announcement.
yeah, right. Oh, and uh, I don't. There's something else that I play from them that I love, and I can't think of what it
Uh,
is.
it is Skyrim.
Oh, yes.
I mean, they have a
I'm
bunch.
hoping that they do a new Skyrim.
Yeah,
Yeah, because that's another game that is just super fun that I have not finished. But I could enjoy if they went to, is it 6?
yeah, it would be it. Yeah, I think it'd be Skyrim 6. I don't know. I've got it. Yes, the Elder Scrolls 5 is Skyrim. Yeah, I think that might be wishful thinking at this point because
There's nothing wrong with a little of
no, yeah,
wishful
no,
thinking.
no, for sure. I mean, hell, they've made Skyrim on so many different consoles. There's had so many different versions of that freaking game. I mean, that game just continues to make money, because it is a great game. I'm with you. I'm super
Mhm.
excited to find out about Fallout 76. People are like super pissed off that this game might be a survival MMO style game. That sounds freaking awesome in the world of Fallout. Like that was, I don't know why that game felt so lonely when I played it, and I guess I get the rationale behind that. I know it's a weird thing to say. I don't know if
Mhm.
maybe it was just like my personal feelings at that moment,
Mhm.
like in my life when I played it, but I
Mhm.
just always felt so isolated in that game, and I felt like it was one of those games where it would have been you got this awesome world to go explore with somebody else.
It would have been fun to if they would have allowed some little bit of co-op. Like, I mean, just like State of Decay 2 is a
Yeah.
perfect example. You don't have to have it to make the story go forward, but
No.
you can utilize it. So that would have been nice because it is a very, very lonely game.
Yeah.
Uh, and you have to make horrible decisions that, just horrible decisions in that game. So,
Yeah.
um, so, but I'm super excited about 76. I think it's going to be something that'll be up my alley.
Yeah, I'm very pumped about Fallout 76. I think it's going to be great. Uh, yeah, I'm very excited to find out more about that. I think they may show off something like Doom 2 as well. I think that might be a thing. Doom sold really well. It reinvigorated that franchise. People loved the crap out of it. Again, I watched all those no clip documentaries, and I love those documentaries.
Yeah.
I need to play the damn game because
Hmm.
it's like staring at me right
Yes.
over there. Yeah, so that for Bethesda, I'm very excited to just see what they have because they do such a great job with their single player campaigns. I think that's why so many people are like against Fallout 76 being a multiplayer game is because Bethesda
Yeah.
is known for their single player experiences, but they have Elder Scrolls Online, and I think people seem to love that. So an online Fallout game, I'm all for it. I think it would be great. So moving on to Square Enix, the makers of Final Fantasy games,
Hmm.
Tomb Raider, was Hitman for a little bit, but I think they might have lost Hitman. I don't know. That was a whole weird thing. For Square Enix, there's only two things that I want to see, and I think we're gonna get one of them like at the Sony conference anyway. So I'll just go with the one. I want to see the Avengers game. That game looks like
Yeah.
it's gonna be badass. Getting to play as like Iron Man and Thor and all these people. Incredible Hulk. Like they haven't shown a lot of that. It's been in development for a while. Like
Hmm.
I feel like it's time, and I mean, if you think about it, it would be really badass because we would get the Avengers, Spider-Man, and possibly a Superman game, all in one conference. Would be, I would love the crap out of that.
A nerd's delight.
Hmm.
Well, for me, it's just Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. That the last Tomb Raider was just one of my favorite games. I had a blast playing that.
I don't know
So I'm
why.
looking forward to continuing Laura's story.
Yeah, I don't know why that game doesn't do better. It's such an amazing game, and it's so weird to me because I feel like everybody's talking about God of War and how amazing it is, which it is. Obviously,
Hmm.
we both love the crap out of it,
Right.
but they don't put Tomb Raider in that same conversation, and I feel like that was a game that the franchise had gotten stale. Nobody wanted to really play any like Tomb Raider games. Maybe like the hardcore Tomb Raider fans, but and then they came out with Tomb Raider in whatever it was 2012, 2013, and it was so good. It was such a good game. I
It
think that
was.
maybe the only difference is like I felt like the ending of that first Tomb Raider, it kind of like went off the rails and like went into like this very supernatural elements. I can't
Well,
remember
and
the very end of it,
I,
but
from what I understand, that's the direction they are absolutely going with a new one. Is a very supernatural, uh, which is really odd to me.
yes. Yeah,
Um,
I don't know if I like that much, but
yeah,
I mean,
I'll play it.
yeah, the gameplay is phenomenal. I mean, I played Tomb Raider the first one, and I played parts of Rise of the Tomb Raider. I never beat it. Need to go back and beat it. But yeah, I love those games as well. They're all
Yeah.
great. I'm excited for Shadow of the Tomb Raider. it's going to be one of those games they're going to have to really, really show me something incredible for me to want to buy it this year at full price, because I know, unfortunately, it's going to go on sale like around the
Yeah.
Christmas time, because it comes out in September. So I know it's going to be on a sale.
Isn't there's right, but there's 3 or 4 really great games coming out all
Yes.
within a couple of weeks of each other there, which is going to be super difficult to know where to spend my money.
Yeah. September's going to be
But
rough.
yeah, that is going to be, I'm going to be, broke, super broke. Uh, I know I'll spend my money on Tomb Raider though.
The good thing about Tomb Raider is it doesn't really matter. Like, you spend your money on it, you're gonna get a fantastic experience. Like, it's not gonna be money that you're gonna feel bad about spending on Tomb Raider.
Nope.
They're extremely solid games. Like, they're great games. They just, for whatever reason, haven't resonated with the overall like video game culture as much as something like God of War, because I think it should at least be talked about in the same breath, but like it certainly is not. So people weren't like all that jazzed when they showed the trailer off for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But, and then I've people that have went and played it behind closed doors at certain like events. They're like, yeah, it's just more Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. Moving on, Ubisoft is, I believe, Monday. I think this is we're getting into Monday morning. I don't really care about seeing anything except for the Division 2. That's all I want to see.
It looks like, I played very, very little of Division 1 because I got my butt handed
Yeah.
to me because I was playing by myself. It looks like so much fun though. I thought it would be fun for us to play together. So I'm excited to see Division 2.
Yeah, no, I'm super pumped, and yeah, it's a game that for me, I've got it lined out. I think we're gonna have this dead period after Vampire comes out this week.
Yeah,
I feel like we're gonna have a dead period through July and maybe August, and that's my time. That's my window that I'm like, all right, the Division. We're doing this because the game looks super good.
He bugged me and bugged me and bugged me. I need to play. I want to play. Go buy it. So he tells me to do it. I go buy it, and he didn't.
And I didn't. And then I went and got it for my Xbox. Oopsie.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Well. Okay. Moving on to your favorite. Let's get into your favorite. Let's just get off the story of how bad of a son I am with buying it and not playing it with you.
All right. That's all right.
All right. So Sony, give it to me. This is your jam. So what do you want? Give me some of your thoughts, and what do you want out of E3?
I mean, I want some answers when it comes to The Last of Us Part 2. That's what I want. I want to see not that trailer that they released that was a bunch of people that we didn't know who they were, and this horrible, brutal, horrible. I don't even know what was going on. I want to see Joel. I want to see him alive.
Yeah.
I need to see a continuation of that story. So, and I want a release date. I think I probably won't get that.
I think you might get a release window. Like they may say coming spring 2019, fall 2019, something like that. I do feel like it's going to be a 2019 game because at this point I don't feel like Sony would be giving it so much attention because they're doing something different, supposedly different with their conference this year, where they came out and like months before E3, they're like, all right, at this year's E3, we're going to do something a little different. We've got 4 games that we're going to focus on, and they're like, we're going to focus on Death Stranding, The Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and Death Stranding. Did I say that twice?
We're going to focus on Death Stranding twice.
Shit, what was the other one? Spider-Man. Excuse me, Spider-Man. Which is so weird for me to think that they're going to focus on Spider-Man because we've seen so much of it, and it comes out September 6th. Like, granted,
there's not a big need at this point to tease us with it.
No, I already want it. Like, it looks great. Honestly, I don't want them to tell much more about it because it already looks like it's going to be really fun. So I don't get that. That's why I forgot, because I'm
Yeah.
like, why would they focus
Yeah.
on that game? Like,
Yeah.
with a considerable amount of time, which maybe they're not going to do a considerable amount of time. Maybe they're just going to show like,
It's going to be in there.
yeah,
Death Stranding is the one that they need to show some. They need to show some actual gameplay of.
yes,
Is what I need to see, because all we've seen is these really weird trailers, and you still have no idea. Is it about worms? Is it about babies in jars? Norman Reedus without his shirt on a lot. So I don't know. I mean, I'm in.
I'm in, but at this point, I'm just like, why don't y'all just make an animated movie? Like, just give me an animated movie, because I love the visual style that they've got going on with that game. It looks so cool, but yeah, I don't know. That's a game that I'm pumped, but at the same time, I feel like it's one of those games we're gonna see at E3 for the next like 3 more years.
Probably.
And then PlayStation 5 comes out, and it's like it's a launch game for the PlayStation 5.
Right.
So yeah, I don't really know why they, unless they're farther along than we think, and it's like, boom, The Last of Us 2 2019, Death Stranding 2019, or maybe even it's like spring 2020 or something like that. Ghost of Tsushima, I think, is going to be a game that's going to come out relatively soon. We talked about it a little bit up front. Looks amazing. It's from Sucker Punch. They're the ones that did the Infamous games. They know how to make great games. They know how to make beautiful games. So that's the game I don't know hardly anything about. So I'm pumped to see more about that. I'm glad they're focusing on that game. I'm with you with The Last of Us 2. I have no clue what the hell that trailer was. Like, I don't get it. And I mean, they got a lot of negative fan reception, I think,
yes,
from that
it did.
trailer.
Yeah.
Which is very weird to think about that from The Last of Us 2, because I'm like, are they gonna bungle this up? Like, are they gonna just
Right? Are they gonna take this cherished game that and that was the whole problem with the idea of doing a sequel to it? When you did something so perfect, how do you continue that story and not just screw it all up? And maybe they're gonna mess it up. Did you play the DLCs?
No, I didn't. The Left Behind DLCs? No, I didn't play those.
No, they the one with Ellie and
and the girl.
Yeah, and I played them. It was just nice for me to be back in that world. They weren't super fantastic, so I'm hoping that that's not what happens. Something like that.
I don't know if you know the whole backstory behind Uncharted 4, but there was a lot of problems in the development of that game. It changed quite a bit throughout its development cycle, and there was a lot of drama. And so, when I think of Naughty Dog, I think of like some of the best video games of all time. Going back to freaking Ratchet and Clank, not Ratchet and Clank, excuse me, Crash Bandicoot. When I popped in my PlayStation 1, Naughty Dog, Crash Bandicoot, they always made great games. So I don't know, something about The Last of Us 2 kind of has me a little bit concerned. Hopefully hopefully it's going to be fantastic and everything.
Yeah.
But I am excited to see more of it. So some of the things that I'm really pumped that I wish that they would show at the Sony conference.
Yeah.
An Until Dawn sequel. I would love to see that.
Good God, that'd be so awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that game was just amazing.
Yes.
Decision-based game that no one can screw up except for me. And so I'd like to see another one like it.
Yeah. No, I would absolutely love to see an Until Dawn sequel. I'm hoping that we get to see a Ratchet and Clank 2. I think that Ratchet and Clank was such a good game, and it'll be tough because I know Insomniac, they've got Spider-Man that they're working on. I would hope that they've got like 2 teams that maybe a separate team could work on Ratchet and Clank 2. I think we may see something with Horizon Zero Dawn. I just feel like that might be something that we get a glimpse of, because I feel like so the developers that made that game, oh man, I'm blanking. Gorilla Studios. So back in the day when they made those Killzone games, they were pretty good about like pumping out sequels in a
Right.
pretty quick fashion and still being like better. You know, their quality consistently went up. Like it wasn't, they didn't regress a lot of the times with the Killzone
Yeah.
games. And so it's kind of weird for me because it's like we're in this console life cycle of the PS4, and we really haven't gotten a lot of games where the original, you know, like the first one came out and then the sequel came out. Like it's which is weird for me. It felt like in like
Right.
previous console generations, man, they were like, all right, we got a good IP, let's pump out more sequels,
Yeah.
like just boom, boom, boom. And that's something we really haven't seen all that much within the Xbox and the PlayStations this console generation. So yeah, those are two sequels I'd like to see. I would die if we got the Resident Evil 2 remake that's been like rumored forever. It feels like
Yeah,
it's been
that'd be
around for
fun.
decades. I would love to see that. Even though Cory Barlog has been adamant and said that it ain't happening, I'd love to see some God of War DLC. So that would be
Yeah.
amazing. Don't think it's gonna happen.
Did you see that the leak, the mistake that Walmart did with Borderlands?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
I mean, might as well show us a little bit of it
Yeah, I don't
out
know.
there.
Gearbox is such a weird studio. I'm like, they haven't really had a hit other than Borderlands, and it's like your fans want more Borderlands, just make more Borderlands, and they've been
Right.
I don't know, so hesitant to like come out and talk about it, which I think was a mistake because we didn't talk about it with Bethesda their conference, but I am excited to see more of Rage 2. That game looks like it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. I love Mad Max, and the developers that made Mad Max are making Rage 2, and it kind of looks like they're stealing a little thunder from like the looter shooter that is Borderlands. Similar, you know, sort of similar art style, like not as cartoony, but like as far as the vibe is very similar. It feels
Right.
like to Borderlands, like over the top, you know, zany.
Yeah,
just-
exactly.
yeah, in your
Everybody's,
face.
you know, got a one-liner, you know,
Yes,
as they blow
yes.
your face off. In which is a blast to play, and so
Yeah.
they need to continue that story. So I mean, because they put out the Telltale version of it, and it didn't do so great. I mean, I played it.
I mean, people loved it. It
Yeah.
got great, fantastic scores, but yeah, I don't think it sold all that well.
Right.
So yeah, no, I'm with you. Like, Borderlands 3 would be fantastic.
That'd be fun.
I think it's time to show it. Yeah, I would love to see that as well. And my last couple of ones on here, one is just like a very much a me and only me, maybe you as well. I
Yeah.
would love to see The Order 1886 finally get its sequel that it deserves. It's a great game. Yes, maybe it wasn't worth $59.99. Maybe it should have been $29.99 when it came out, and it would have never had like the horrible like
Right.
reception that it got
Right.
because I had a
It was
blast with it.
it was a lot of fun, but it
Yeah.
was. I finished it quickly.
Oh,
If
it's
I can finish it quickly, you know, good God,
Yeah.
you know, it's not a $60 game, that's for sure.
It was
Luckily,
very quick.
I bought it when it was super
Yeah.
cheap.
Exactly. Smart,
so-
smart, savvy gamer. I mean, sometimes you got to do that. Like, if you buy the Order 1886, you go to like wherever and buy it, or buy it digitally, and it's like $8.99 or $7.99, and you play it, and you're like, damn, that game was great.
Yeah.
But if you paid $59.99 for it, you're like, damn, that
Right.
game sucked. You know.
It totally changes your perspective of it. Okay, the other thing that I did find when I was doing a little research for this that I was blown away by, because the first game I ever played all by myself was The Walking Dead
Yeah.
that you gave me, the Telltale version, because I needed a hand-holding game.
Yeah.
Well, I did not realize that there's another Walking Dead game coming out. By Overkill.
The funny thing about this game is we played it. We played this game years ago. I mean, I'm with you. Like, I had that on my list of like just random games that I'm excited to see more about. But yeah, so I think I want to say it was 20. I want to say it was 2014. We played it in VR at Walker Stalker Con, and yeah, it was
Oh,
like
that was
they
fun.
yeah, they put us in the
Did they?
wheelchairs and
Uh-huh.
everything, and yeah, so we played whatever that game was. It's
Yeah.
changed obviously over the last couple of years. I think this is the same one. Maybe I'm wrong, because it's Overkill that's making this, and I thought it was Starbreeze Studios that was making the one that we played. I don't know. At this point, I can't keep up with the Walking Dead games because it feels like there's so many like
Yeah.
mobile
Yeah.
ones
Hmm.
right now. Every couple
Yeah.
of weeks, it's like some new mobile Walking Dead games coming out. But I'm with you. The trailers that they've put out for this game look
Hmm.
really cool. Like
Yeah.
great visuals. Like seems like a very interesting story. That old dude that was talking to his daughter, I guess, in the car. From what I can remember, it was his
And
daughter, maybe.
or he's telling about his
Well,
daughter.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if it was her in the car, but
Right.
just like
But
telling the
it's a
story.
zombie.
Yeah.
Really totally decayed
Yeah.
zombie. I that looks amazing to me.
Yeah.
And
It does.
I feel like anything that wants to be in the Walking Dead universe needs to get that stuff out now,
Yep.
because yeah, the main TV show's fixing to blow up and go bye bye.
Yeah,
I
that
think.
show's not gonna make it past
Yeah.
season 9. I don't. I think. Oh, well, I think we'll get a season 10, but it's gonna be
And
so
it's
like
going to be horrible, and
yeah.
this is what I'll do the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of cringe-worthy for the last couple of seasons. They've had their moments where it's like, oh, this is The Walking Dead, and like it's great, but then they've had a lot of like, damn, they're what else can I do right now? I mean, let me go fold some laundry or something.
I know.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yes, which is exactly the way that I would describe it, because I end up not paying any attention because I'm always doing something else because it
Yeah.
doesn't hold my attention. So,
Exactly.
and I'm a huge Walking Dead fan, as are you.
Yeah.
So a Walking Dead a game would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This one's supposed to be a 4-person co-op, so that's the only part about it that I wouldn't like.
Ooh, I might like that.
I have to rely on other people. So
I don't know. That sounds great. I didn't know it was a co-op game. I'm in, like because one of my games on here that I know is not going to happen, but I was like, this would be really badass to see, is Left 4 Dead 3. And if Overkill's The Walking Dead is a 4-player co-op,
there you go.
I don't need Left 4 Dead anymore. So as long as it's good. I mean, Left 4 Dead is a great game. So another wild one that I would like to see, and we're about to wrap it up on our E3 talk and just the podcast in general. I'd love to see a new Max Payne game. Max Payne 3 was one of my favorite gaming experiences here recently, last decade. I thought it was an amazing game. Rockstar made that. They took over the Max Payne franchise property. They came out with Max Payne 3. It was great. It's the last one. I mean, that came out in 2012. I know they're making Red Dead Redemption 2 right now, and they're finalizing that game. But I feel like, what's next? Other than GTA, like, I get it. GTA is obviously next. I mean, GTA 6 it's being made right now. They make too much money with that franchise. But then again, I mean, they can just keep milking GTA Online and making just hundreds of millions of dollars. But I feel like it would be really cool for them to show something else, like to be like, hey, we know we got, I mean, which they're not going to be there. Rockstar's like, we're above going to E3. We make too much money on our games. Our games are too successful. We don't even have to show you our stuff there, which is crazy, but it's really good for them. But I think it would be really cool to see like a Max Payne 3 or Max Payne 4, whatever they want to call it, at maybe the Microsoft. I could see Microsoft showing something like that off, and I would love it. I think it would be fantastic. So
I will have to look Max Payne up because I do not remember any of that gameplay.
It's good. It's a really good game. Max Payne, the series as a whole, was the series that introduced that whole bullet time. So where you like slowed everything down, which exactly, the whole Matrix Neo thing. Yeah, so it was really sweet playing that in a game. Max Payne 3 just had a really good story. I love the environment. I think you went down to, I think it was Brazil or something. I feel like it was South America, somewhere in South America, and yeah, it was great. Had a really cool story. Love the character of Max Payne in that game. It kind of reminded me of like something like Kratos, where it's like he was a little bit older and grizzled, or like Nate from or is it Nate?
Yes,
Nate from Uncharted. Yeah, so so that's really it. I mean, the only other thing that I thought would be cool to see is maybe some Halo and Witcher TV series information. I think that would be really cool to see. We know the Witcher series is getting made, on Netflix. If that would be a really badass thing to see. Just a quick quick teaser trailer or something like that. I think that would be great to see at E3. So, do you have any other ones that you got?
The only other one that I was excited about, I cannot remember the name of it. That little game that I was playing on my phone constantly is being made for the Switch, and it's perfect for the Switch, the Nintendo Switch, and there'd be a little more obviously extended gameplay than you play on your iOS. I cannot think of it. It's adorable. It's a fun.
Is it Animal Crossing?
It's Animal Crossing.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. Animal Crossing is like an extremely popular game, and I don't know if that's it, because I mean that is a Nintendo, like Nintendo's owned that property. They've always had the Animal Crossing games come out.
I'm almost positive that it's Animal Crossing, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. And we didn't talk about Nintendo. It's not because neither one of us have a Switch. I had it for a little while. Sold it back because I was like, I have too many consoles. I have too many games that I'm trying to play. The Switch is fantastic, though. It's a really awesome system. I love Nintendo's Nintendo Directs that they do at E3. They're always wacky, fun. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they have to show off. But for me, it's all about Xbox One and Sony PS4 at this point for the conference. I'm super excited. I cannot wait. So our next podcast will come back, and that's all we're going to talk about is E3. Like, we probably won't even, I mean, the news will all be stuff from E3 and like what we saw, what was the best and everything, best part about E3. We'll grade the, which how did Microsoft do? How did Sony do? How did EA do? And we'll figure out some way to score them in an old ass casuals way. But I'm super excited. This weekend, it's going to be great. I cannot wait to watch all the conferences and discuss them with you on our next podcast episode.
Yeah, and see where we're going to spend all of our money for the next couple of years.
Exactly. Yeah, for the next couple of years. Death Stranding 2025.
Yeah, exactly.
Gonna get it then. All right, so thank you guys so much for watching along with us. Really appreciate you guys hanging out. And yeah, we want you to email us more. So email us oldasscasuals@gmail.com. Well, thanks a lot. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye.
Bye.